This is one I've really been waiting for. Tonight we are honored to have one of the world's great actresses here to pay tribute to one of the world's great writer-performers. Ladies and gentlemen, Meryl Streep.
Thank you. In August 1965, after I cried for about 3 days and promised that I'd do the dishes for the next 4 years, my parents finally relented and they let me go into New York on a date for the first time to see this new English band that we were all so emotional about. I remember I sat in about the 116th row, and I had a better view of New Jersey than I did of the little stage that was set up on center field. But as indelibly as the words of those songs are written across my heart, I can remember the sight of those 4 boys running across the grass to the stage. And I can remember the downbeat in the first few chords of I Saw Her Standing There. And I can remember the roar that just rose up and surrounded those 4 boys for the next 25 years of our lives. I had a little sign that said, "I love you forever, Paul." I don't think he saw it. And that's why I'm so beside myself happy to be here tonight, to finally meet him and to present him with the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. Paul McCartney.
We'll do write songs as we have been doing as a sort of sideline now. We'll probably develop that a bit more, we hope. Who knows, at 40 we may not know how to write songs anymore.
Among the innumerable accomplishments of the Lennon-McCartney songwriting team is the simple fact that they are the 2 most recorded writers ever. Paul's song, Yesterday, alone has over 3,000 cover versions. Paul was asked to pick his personal favorites, those versions of his songs that he really loves. And the list was wide and varied. But from it, we're lucky to have tonight 2 artists who've recorded definitive versions of McCartney classics. Among his early influences, Paul credits Little Richard, Chuck Berry, and Elvis Presley as those who most shaped his vocal style. But he also said that one man stands out as a singular performer and influence. In fact, he thought of Ray Charles as he wrote The Long and Winding Road, and Ray Charles is here tonight to perform his version of Eleanor Rigby. Paul McCartney came to his collaboration with Stevie Wonder with great admiration and respect for Stevie's musical genius. The result was a #1 record, which used the piano as a metaphor to reflect on social issues that were close to both their hearts. The song was Ebony and Ivory, and the delight they shared in making the record is evident to anybody who remembers the music video. Paul's always been impressed with Stevie's unique style when performing his own music, and he was especially thrilled with his version of the classic Beatles song, We Can Work It Out. So to participate in this tribute, with lots of love, Stevie Wonder. The breakup of the Beatles was a sobering lesson in change for those of us who wanted to believe that it could go on forever. And the sudden, numbing death of John Lennon signaled the end of even the dream that the past could somehow be revived. For Paul, life after the Beatles became a challenge to the resilient, positive spirit he seems to have always had. He made a headlong charge into new media, playing new music before a new audience, converting new listeners. The extraordinary gift of being able to pluck out of the air, from out of one's soul, music that we've never heard before, but which is instantly familiar and immediately unforgettable. Songs that stir something in us, anthems of the spirit. This is Paul McCartney's special gift, and it's a gift he bears so simply, so naturally, and with such grace. It's as if the songs are coming through him from some magic place, through him and to us, and we're all brought closer together by raising our voices and singing along. It's as if we're sitting around the stereo like some futuristic campfire and being warmed by his voice, his music, his particular joy. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul McCartney. I'm supposed to read this to you, dear. The trustees of the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences present the Lifetime Achievement Award to Paul McCartney, who, as a member of the Beatles, had an impact not only on rock and roll, but on Western culture, and who, as a solo performer and songwriter, continues to astonish after 3 decades.
Oh. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now stop that, I can chuck out this, but I'm warning you. Hold on. Now seriously, folks. Thank you, Meryl. Okay, I'm not nervous, right? Let's get that out of the way. Thank you, Meryl. I remember you well. Row 116. I remember her well. She looked great, even then. Okay, speech time. Reaches in pocket for a little yellow slap of... Okay, guys. I'm gonna do it, don't worry. Okay. When I was but a child in Liverpool, I was listening to the radio, and this record came on. It's called What Did I Say? And it was by a guy called Ray Charles. And I was this big, and the tingles went right up and down my spine, and right there I knew what I wanted to do in life. A little later, there was this guy called Little Stevie Wonder who had a record called Fingertips. Had the same effect on me. So, if you'd have told me that all this time later they were going to be here, tonight, singing, something I'd written, well, I wouldn't have believed you. I mean, that's all there is to it. A little later on, I joined the best band in the world. And I got to take this opportunity, now that I got this award here, to thank John, George, and Ringo for being beautiful people. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to just take 1 second, because the other thing, if you'd have told me, when I reached this age, if you'd have told me that there'd be a hole in the sky, and if you told me that the rain would have acid in it, and if you told me that there'd be pollution in the seas and on the land, that's something else I wouldn't have believed. But you know what? I've got faith we're going to clean it up. Is that right? Because if you'd have told me that the Berlin Wall had come down and Mr. Mandela would be free, I wouldn't have believed that either. But I believe it now. Right? Right? Woo! You told me I'd still be rocking after all these years, I wouldn't have believed that either. Okay. So, I say this whole thing for me has been like a bit of a dream anyway, my whole career to this date, my whole life to this date, in fact. But I'd like to just thank Linda and my kids for being incredible support to me. I love them. I'd like to thank my mum and dad, without whom I'd like to thank you all for being in my dream.